the Dissmore family from Bloomer, Wisconsin, and we have 4 sweet little grandchildren with us today, and we're going to have a lot of stories and songs and fun times together. This is Grandpa Roger and Grandma Marie with Jennifer and Carrie and Joseph and Hannah Dissmore. So hello everybody. You can hear Joseph. He's trying to put on a little act for us tonight. He just says a 1-act play. Ready?
This is Grandpa Roger Dissmore. We're going to have a story about the house and the hole in the side of the tree. Well, what do you want? Squire Squirrel growled. He looked so angry that the Chipmunk twins almost ran away. Well, that is, do you have a hammer that we can borrow? They answered almost whispering. No, shouted Squire Squirrel. What do you think this is, a hardware store? Then he slammed the door so hard that the tree shook, and his house and the hole in the side of the tree shook too. Squire mumbled and grumbled all the way up the stairs. He looked around his house to be sure that it was all right. He had not made the house very well. He knew that he must stop slamming doors or the whole house would fall down. I really should build a better house and a better place, Squire grumbled to himself. These neighbors never do anything for me. All they ever do is borrow hammers and things. Of course, Squire Squirrel never thought to ask himself what he did for his neighbor. Just then, Squire heard something at his window. Yoo-hoo! Someone said. Squire opened his window and stared into the face of Oscar Owl, sitting on a big limb of a big tree. Nosy neighbors, Squire mumbled. They even sitting in your trees outside my window. What do you want, Oscar? What do I want? Oscar began to think. Yes, what do I want? I seem to have forgotten. I know that I was to remember not to forget something, but now I've forgotten what I was supposed to remember not to forget. I suppose you want to borrow something too, Squire shouted. Why, yes, of course, said Oscar. How thoughtful of you to remember. But what was I to borrow? Let me think. Oh, yes, I need a stirring mick. Oh, dear, no, I mean a measuring stick. Squire slammed his window so hard that a board fell from his house in the hole in the side of the tree. If I had a measuring stick, I'd wrap it around his silly neck, Squire grumbled. Squire flopped down in a big chair. It was a very quiet now in his house. He thought for a moment that it would be nice to have some friends. But just as he started to think that, he heard a noise outside. Bang! Bang! Crash! Bang! Squire ran to the window and opened it wide. He could not see anything special, but he could still hear that noise. Then Squire shouted as loud as he could, Will you be quiet? Of course, Squire didn't know that he was making more noise than the noise was making. Squire had just slammed the window shut when he heard someone knocking on the door downstairs. When he opened it, there was his next door neighbors, smiling and looking like very happy squirrels. Do you have a saw that we could borrow? They started to say, but Squire slammed the door without bothering to answer. That night, Squire lay in his bed for a long time, looking up at the big moon over his next neighbor's tree. He felt very lonely and he felt very sad. Squire knew that he really wanted some friends, but he knew that he would never have friends by slamming doors and windows and shouting when they tried to be friendly. With these thoughts running through his mind, Squire fell asleep. While he slept, Squire dreamed that a hammer and a saw were chasing him. He ran to each neighbor's house to ask for help, but each time he tried to talk, someone slammed the door or a window. At last, the hammer and the saw chased him all the way home. As he locked himself in his house, Squire felt more lonely and sad than he had ever felt. Then he sat down and cried, but there was no friend to help him feel better. The next morning, Squire woke up suddenly. Someone was knocking on his door. He ran down the steps and opened the door. Squire almost expected to see the big hammer and saw standing there, ready to chase him again. But instead, he saw all his neighbors laughing and looking very happy. Squire started to ask, well, what did you want? What do you want? But he didn't. And then he started to slam the door. But he didn't. He kept thinking about about his dream. He knew now how it felt to have someone slam a door when you come to see him. Squire was happy that a hammer and saw were not chasing him now. He was very happy that his neighbors were not slamming doors. And he was very, very happy that they had come to see him. "Will you come in?" Squire asked. "Will you have breakfast with me?" Later, they all shouted cheerfully, "Come with us. We have a surprise for you."
Surprise! Good!
Then Squire's neighbor took him to the big tree not far away. In the side of the big tree there was a big hole, and in the big hole was a beautiful new house.
Goody!
"It's your new house," they all shouted. "And we made it for you because we like you
Everybody say it.
and
We
want to be
like
your friends."
you and want to be your
Squire
friends.
Squirrel was so ashamed that he could not even look at his wonderful neighbors.
Look
Well,
at
he
this
had been
story.
shouting at them and slamming doors and windows. They had been making a house for him. "I'm sorry that I've been so grumpy," he said. "I'll never slam a door or a window again when you come to see me."
Sing.
"Dear me," said Oscar, "the owl, I seem to have forgotten to remember that you slammed doors and windows." The Chipmunk twins began to laugh. Then the next three neighbors, who weren't next tree neighbors anymore, began to laugh too. Even Squire Squirrel began to laugh. Then all the friends went inside to look at Squire's new house in the hole in the side of the tree.
Everybody laugh. Ha ha ha! Everybody No, thank you, Grandpa, for the nice story. Now, Hannah, we have a story. I would like Hannah to help me with this little poem. What is this, Hannah? What is it? Froggy, listen. Over in the meadow, in the sand, in the sun, lived an old mother toad and her little toady one. Wink! Say wink. Wink! Hannah, say wink. Wink, said the mother. I wink, said the one. So she winked and she blinked in the sand and the sun. What's this, Hannah? Fishy. Over in the meadow where the stream runs blue lived an old mother fish and her little fishies too. Swim, said the mother. We swim, said the two. So they swam and they leaped where the stream runs blue. What are these, Hannah? Over in the meadow in a hole in the tree lived a mother bluebird and her little birdies. Say birdies. Birdies, three. Sing, said the mother. We sing, said the three. So they sang and were glad in the hole in the tree. Thank you, Hannah. Okay. Oh, this one here. Carrie, what is this? What is that? A birdie. It says time to rise. A birdie with a yellow bill popped upon my windowsill. Cocked his shining eye and said, "Ain't you ashamed, you sleepy head?" That's right, Robert. Look at this one. What's this word? It rains on the umbrellas here and on the ships at sea. That's by Robert Louis Stevenson. I know this one. What's this?
Lamp.
That's a lamb. Can you tell me this poem? Mary.
Mary had a little Mary had a little
Lamb. Its fleece was
white
as
as snow.
and
Everywhere that Mary
the lamb
the lamp
was
was
sure to
to
go.
go.
Where did he follow her to?
We followed her. He followed her to school one day.
Which was against the rule. It made the children and play to see a lamb at school and
So the teacher had
turned him out.
but
Still, he lingered near and waited patiently about till Mary did appear. Then he ran to her and laid his head upon her arm. And if he
Stay here,
said,
Hannah. Come on.
"I'm not afraid,"
Come on.
you
keep
No, that's okay.
will keep me
from all harm. What makes the lamb love Mary so? eager children cried. Oh, Mary.
What's that? Teacher.
Quick replied. And you each gentle animal in confidence may bind, and make them follow at your will if you are only kind. Good. Carrie, oh, do you love kitties? What is that? Okay, let me hear you say this little poem. I love little pussy. Say it. I love
little pussy. Her coat is so
Big grizzly bear, bigger than that.
F-I-D.
don't hurt.
Yeah, great big new ones in cages. Sure they were, weren't they? Great big ones. We didn't want to stick our head in their mouth, did we?
Pull
We saw deer.
tail. So I'll not pull her tail. Drive
This.
her away.
Horsey.
But pussy and
Hannah.
I very gently will play. She will sit right here. She will sit by. Give
Come on, little mischief. You want to just run away?
right here. And
she'll like me, but
because
This.
I'm
gentle and good.
Horsey.
Thank you, Carrie. Carrie just finished first grade out in Great West Virginia. Now, Jennifer, would you come over here, please?
What? Turn the tape
Oh,
on.
no, we can't turn over. Jennifer, please come over here. I want you to tell me about this picture. Look at here. Oh, come here, Jennifer. No, Jennifer's going to tell me
That's
now.
an angel.
Jennifer
Joe's
is
talking
9 years old, and what grade are you in, Jennifer? You're going into fourth grade? Going into fifth grade? Okay, come over here a little bit closer to the tape player. Now, look, you get over there so the tape player can hear a little bit better. Okay, we better turn this light on. It's getting starting to get dark. First of all, let me ask you a question, Jennifer. How long have you been on the road? When did you leave home?
2 weeks ago.
Almost 2 weeks ago. And where did you go first? You went to Michigan. Did you go to the big island? What's it called? Okay, talk a little bit louder. Mackinac Island, or Mackinac Island. And then you went and camped where? Up by. Did you go up to Trout Creek, Michigan? To the place where your dad was a little boy? And then you stopped at Glidden. Who did you visit at Glidden? Sally, and who else? Just Sally? Okay, and they're coming down tomorrow night, possibly, aren't they? So,
Yeah, and we Samuel and Cherry wants to can sleep in the tent.
oh, good. Okay, have you ever heard this little poem about the stars before? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Do you ever wonder how far the stars are up in the sky?
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up, 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 up,
Have you heard that song before? Okay.
like a diamond in the sky. It's not your turn.
Okay, now it's Jennifer's turn. I wish I'd have had Carrie do that one. Okay, do this now, Jennifer. Start here. Twinkle.
Twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Like a diamond, so that like a diamond in the night. When the blazing sun is gone, with you nothing sounds so fine. When you say you really like me,
Okay, now see if you can talk real loud like Grandma's talking. Then, go like that. Then the traveler in the dark. Do that. Then,
Then the traveler in the dark comes before the tiny truck, picking up towers with
Have you ever seen the wind?
No.
Okay, let me hear you read this one. Real nice and loud. How you have not seen the wind? Okay, read it. Who has seen the wind? That's the title.
You have seen the wind, neither I nor you, but when the leaves hang trembling, the wind is passing through. Who has seen the wind? Neither I or you, but when the trees bow down their heads, the wind is passing by.
Good. We had a big windstorm here. Now Joseph is going to sleep on us, and we want him to do so. Have you ever seen a cow?
Yes.
Ask him some questions before he goes.
Okay, Joseph. Joseph.
I'll wait.
It's
No.
okay.
Okay, we'll let him sleep on, and then we'll maybe get him later. Maybe tomorrow or something, or maybe when I.
Ask Hannah.
Okay. Hey, what is this, Hannah? But you stay here, Jennifer. Too, 'cause I have to read the poem. Hannah, what is this?
Joseph is sleeping.
What's that, Hannah?
Joseph is sleeping.
What is this, Hannah?
Joseph is sleeping.
Well, I want Hannah to tell me what this is. What is this? Come on, what is that?
Can't see it.
Cow, she said. Okay. Okay, read this real nice and loud for us, Jennifer.
Thank you, pretty cow, that made pleasant milk to soak my bread every day and every night. Warm and fresh and sweet and wet. Do not see the hemlock red growing on the weedy bank, but the yellow callop eats that will make it very sweet. Where the purple violets grow, where the bubbling waters run, where the grass is fresh and fine, pretty cow will never die.
Good. Okay. No. Such a hard time to get these children
You're
to
gonna
talk
get a drink
loud.
of water for
Hey,
Carrie.
Hannah?
Can you reach the glasses?
Is Hannah getting thirsty or something?
Oh, Carrie is.
Okay, I want Hannah to come here. Hannah.
Lower lip.
Come on.
To help.
Okay.
The wall of horses. The horses had come through the village once before, and a wild and savage sight it had been. Rounded up from the prairies, they had suddenly turned down the narrow dirt road between the houses, and with the thunder of 1,000 hoofs had raced madly through. That was years ago, and the people who now lived in the village never dreamed it would happen again. Surely there would never be another stampede like that, not in their lifetime. So time passed, and children were born. They grew up and played on that same dirt road. Horses from nearby farms passed peacefully to and fro, and the children knew most of them by name. But of the wild horses of the mountains and prairies they knew nothing, except what their mothers had told them of the big stampede. Sometimes, perhaps they dreamed, as children do, of that terrible day when the whole frantic herd went galloping through their village. Life was very happy and peaceful there, far from city noises and railroads and speeding automobiles. Nothing very special happened from week to week until one afternoon. Yes, it was a Sabbath afternoon. Lucy and Lillian had studied their Bible lesson with their parents that very morning. It had been about Daniel in the lion's den, and the two children had enjoyed it very much, especially the part where the angel came and shut the lions' mouths so that they would not harm the prophet of the Lord. They had asked Mother if the angels would go to the rescue of other people who might get into trouble like that, and Mother had said they surely would. The lesson over, the children had gone out for a little walk by themselves. They had planned to go down the dirt road, across a field or two, then back again, but they did not get that far. Suddenly, while they were still in the village, they heard a strange noise in the distance. Looking up, they saw a great cloud of dust which seemed to be coming nearer and nearer. Then amid the dust they could see horses, galloping madly, straight toward them. They were standing near a little bush, not much taller than themselves, and no protection at all. But now they knelt beside it and saying a little prayer and wondering what would happen. Meanwhile, Mother had heard the horses too. Instantly she had recognized the dreadful sound that had frightened her so much long ago. At the same moment she thought of children, of her children. Where were they? Surely they must be on the road, right in the path of the wild, plunging beasts. She ran out to look. Yes, there they were. She called to them, but they could not hear her. Meanwhile, the wild horses, scores and scores of them, were rushing madly, blindly, frantically, right through the village toward them. Save them, O Jesus, save them! Mother cried in desperation, turning her head away lest she should see them killed. Then something very wonderful happened. You do not need to believe it unless you wish to, but I know it is true. The mother told me about it herself, and the oldest girl too. Suddenly, as the horses neared the children, those in front stopped. Kneeing frenziedly, they reared up on their hind legs, their hoofs pawing the air. Then the next row piled onto those ahead of them, their front legs straddling the others' backs. Behind them, still others did the same, until in the space of seconds, there was a wall of horses right across that village street. With their manes flying in the wind and clouds of dust billowing about them, it was a never-to-be-forgotten sight. In that brief pause, the children slipped away and hurried home. The horses plunged and tossed a little while longer, then dropped their hoofs to the ground and started off again on their mad and thunderous flight. But weren't you afraid? Asked Mother as Lucy and Lillian came sauntering up to her. Afraid, they said, quite unconcerned. Oh, no. We knew the angel of the Lord would look after us, and he did. Then they went indoors to play while Mother, who had been sick with fright, marveled at their faith.
Okay, help the children sing the On Wisconsin song now.
On Wisconsin, friend old Badger State, we thy loyal sons and daughters, hail me good and great, your papa. On Wisconsin, champion of our pride, forward our motto, God will give thee pride.
Okay, now do you want to do the West Virginia one?
West Virginia hills are majestic and how grand, with their summits wave in glory like our Francie Williams wing. Is it any wonder then that my heart with magic fills as I stand once more with loved ones on those West Virginia hills? Oh, the hills, beautiful hills, how I love this West Virginia hills. If for reason I'm home, still I think of happy home and the friends among the West Virginia hills.
Jennifer is going to play this On Christ the Solid Rock I Stand. Go. Thank you. Now Carrie Dissmore is going to play a solo on the piano. Yay! Very good, Carrie. Now we have a very exciting story about a fox and grapes. One hot summer's day, a fox was strolling through an orchard till he came to a bunch of grapes just ripening on the vine, which had been trained over a lofty branch. Just the thing to quench my thirst, squirrel ate. Drawing back a few paces, he took a run and a jump and just missed the bunch. Turning round again, with 1, 2, 3, he jumped up again, but with no greater success. Again and again, he tried after the tempting morsel, but at last had to give up and walked away with his nose in the air, saying, "I'm sure they are sour." It is easy to despise what you cannot get. Now we have another story. The wind and the sun. Would you go check the little girl? She's trying to head outside. Hannah will go and disappear outside in the tent. So better bring her back in. The wind and the sun. The wind and the sun were disputing which was the stronger. Suddenly, they saw a traveler coming down the road, and the sun said, I see a way to decide our dispute. Whichever of us can cause that traveler to take off his cloak shall be regarded as the stronger. You begin. So the sun retired behind the cloud, and the wind began to blow. Woo! As hard as it could upon the traveler. But the harder he blew, the more closely did the traveler wrap his cloak around him, till at last the wind had to give up in despair. Then the sun came out and shone in all his glory upon the traveler, who soon found it too hot to walk with his cloak on. So he took his coat off, and the moral of the story is, kindness effects more than severity. If you are sweet and kind to somebody, they will do much more for you than if you're really angry with whatever you're. Okay, you get it? Now I have another story here. I would like to have you children help me with this. Come on, Jennifer, just help me with the story. What is this? This is a lion. And what is this?
Mouse.
Okay, whenever we come to the lion, you be the lion. And Jennifer, you be the mouse. Okay? I will say. Okay. Okay, I will say. Okay, let me hear you make a noise like a lion, Carrie. Oh, very good. And you make a mouse. Okay, there's the mouse. Okay, once when the lion was asleep, a little mouse began running up and down upon him. This soon wakened the lion, who placed his huge paw upon him, and he opened his big jaws to swallow him. Pardon, O king, cried the little mouse. Forgive me this time. I shall never forget it. Who knows but what I may be able to do you a turn some of these days. The lion was so tickled at the idea of the mouse being able to help him that he lifted up his paw and let him go. Some time after, the lion was caught in a trap when the hunters, who desired to carry him alive to the king, tied him to a tree while they went on in search of a wagon to carry him on. Just then, the little mouse happened to pass by, and seeing the sad plight in which the lion went up to him and soon gnawed away the ropes that bound the king of the beasts. Was I not right? Said the little mouse. Little friends may prove to be great friends. That's the moral of the story. Always show kindness to someone. You never know when they might be a friend and show you kindness back. Now we're going to have a story about the fox and the crow. Now, you're going to be the fox. Act like a fox here. A fox is sort of like this.
What does a
Crow goes, quack, quack. Can you do that? Okay, so whenever we say the fox, then you're the fox, and he's kind of growling. Not quite as bad as the lion, but like a... Okay, a fox once saw a crow fly off with a piece of cheese in his beak and settle on the branch of a tree. That's for me, as I am a fox, said Master Reynard, and he walked up to the root of the tree. He wanted that cheese that the crow had. Good day, Mistress Crow, he cried. How well you are looking today. How glossy your feathers. How bright are your eyes. I feel sure your voice must surpass that of the other birds, just as your figure does. Let me hear but one song from you, that I may greet you as the queen of the birds. The crow lifted up her head and began to caw real loud. Her best,
Someone's here.
but the mouth to the ground, only to be snapped up by Master Fox.
Carrie.
That will do, said he. That was all I wanted. In exchange for your cheese, I will give you a piece of advice for the future. Do not trust flatterers. The flatterer doth rob by stealth, his victim both of wit and wealth. So when he...
She did go outside, Grandpa locked the door.
Yeah.